My seatmate grabbed the cup from my tray and whispered, "Don't drink that coffee. I saw the person next to you put something in it." I was halfway to bringing the cup to my lips when the woman in seat 14B reached across the aisle and snatched it from my hand. Coffee sloshed onto my tray table as she set it down with deliberate force. Her eyes were wide and urgent, darting between me and the man in seat 14A who'd been sleeping since we took off from Newark. She leaned close enough that I could smell her perfume, something floral and expensive, and her whisper came out sharp and controlled. "I watched him put something in your coffee while you were in the bathroom. White powder from a small vial. He stirred it with your spoon and put everything back exactly how you left it." My heart started pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. The man in 14A was still asleep, or pretending to be. He wore a business suit, probably mid-40s. He'd smiled at me when I first sat down, made small talk about the weather in Seattle where we were headed, then put on noise-canceling headphones and closed his eyes before takeoff. I'd gotten up to use the bathroom about 20 minutes into the flight, leaving my coffee on the tray table because the turbulence warning was still on. The woman who warned me was maybe 30, dark hair pulled back in a tight bun, wearing a gray pantsuit that screamed corporate lawyer or consultant. Her hand was still on my armrest, fingers tense. "Are you sure?" I kept my voice low, matching her whisper. "Maybe you saw something else. Maybe he was just being helpful, fixing something that spilled." She shook her head hard enough that a strand of hair came loose from her bun. "I'm sitting right across from you. I had a perfect view." He looked around first to make sure no one was watching, then pulled out this tiny vial from his jacket pocket. He was careful about it, methodical. This wasn't an accident or him being nice. She pulled out her phone and showed me a photo she'd taken. The angle was awkward, shot from across the aisle, but I could clearly see the man's hand over my coffee cup, something small and cylindrical between his fingers. I stared at the photo, my mind racing through possibilities. Roofies, GHB, something worse. I'd read articles about people being drugged on flights, waking up confused in airport bathrooms or hotels with missing wallets and no memory of how they got there. But those were always stories about women traveling alone, not men, not me. I was 32, 6 feet tall, worked in construction management, and flew for business twice a month. Nobody looked at me and saw an easy target. The woman saw my confusion and leaned closer. "I know what you're thinking, but look at your hand." I looked down. My left hand was shaking slightly, trembling in a way I couldn't control. "You already drank some, didn't you, before you went to the bathroom?" The realization hit me. I had taken a few sips before getting up, maybe a third of the cup. My mouth went dry. "How long ago did I drink it?" The woman checked her phone. "Maybe 25 minutes. You've been back in your seat for about 10 minutes. I tried to remember how I felt. Tired, but I'd been up since 4 in the morning for an early meeting. Slightly dizzy, but I'd attributed that to the plane's motion. My thoughts felt a little foggy around the edges. I'd assumed it was just exhaustion from a long week. Now, every symptom took on a sinister weight. The woman was watching me carefully. "How do you feel right now?" "Honestly, tired, confused. My hands are shaking." I flexed my fingers, trying to make them steady. "Could be adrenaline from what you just told me?" She nodded slowly. "Could be. Or it could be whatever he gave you starting to work. Either way, we need to tell the flight attendants." The man in 14A shifted in his sleep, and we both froze. His eyes stayed closed, his breathing even and deep, but something about the movement felt performed, like he was listening to every word we said. The woman noticed it too. She pulled back slightly, putting distance between us, and raised her voice to normal volume. "So anyway, I think Seattle's supposed to be nice this time of year. Have you been before?" Playing along, keeping up appearances. "Few times for work," I said, matching her casual tone while my heart hammered. Never really had time to see much, besides the office and hotel. The man in 14A's breathing pattern didn't change. If he was awake and listening, he was good at hiding it. The woman smiled at me, but her eyes were urgent. She mouthed the words "call button" and gestured with her chin toward the overhead panel. I reached up slowly, trying to make it look natural, and pressed the flight attendant call button. And what happened next changed everything. Full story is linked below or on my channel.